Hey folks, I am out here doing a little day tripping and we have another 12 volt fridge review today. But I think you're going to find some pretty nifty features on this one. This is the 21L from hCalory. That's right, the same company that makes our favorite diesel heater. So when they asked us if we would be interested in trying out a new fridge, sure, we were pretty excited as we have been looking for a simple day fridge, something to just take out on a trail without being too big, something to keep a few drinks cold and the things we want to keep cold until lunch. Our existing fridges are much larger, the VL45, the CX75, and they're just a waste of space for a simple outing for the day. As I said, hCalory makes our favorite diesel heater, the SS2. I've used that quite a bit lately in Moab, in Arizona. It works great. So I figure, well, how good can they do the exact opposite and going from a heater to a refrigerator? Well, let's dig in and find out. Let's talk about the specs and the features of it. It has eco and max cooling modes. Very easy to read display on the front. 3 levels of battery protection, an internal LED light, a child lock function, or just a lock function, if you will, that automatically sets after 20 seconds of inactivity. You hold the button for a few seconds to unlock it, and now you can work the panel. So that's really handy to keep things from accidentally touching it. Now, there's no app support, which I found interesting because that seems to be a pretty common feature on fridges these days. It's by no means a showstopper or a deal breaker. It's just a convenient option sometimes, especially when we're testing, but also just to make sure things are running well and if you want to adjust the temperature. So let's head into the key features. Features fast cooling. It'll go from 86 degrees to 32 degrees Fahrenheit in about 15 minutes. That's in max mode. It'll take a bit longer in eco mode. So I always recommend plugging it in to mains power before you put stuff in it. hCalory claims it'll do about 180 watt hours per day in eco mode. Be pretty good if it's true, but we'll have to get to our test results in a little bit. Now, for power supply, takes 12 volt or 24 volt power. So pretty easy to get working in pretty much anything. Plug it into a cigarette lighter port, you're good to go. We're currently running it on a Blue Eddy AC50. That would run it for easily a good weekend. So that solar panel, I wouldn't run it on a solar panel, but I would keep a solar panel plugged into a power supply if you have a smaller one. I can take 100 to 240 volts, converts it to 12 volts if that the fridge needs with the power supply that comes with it. So who is this unit for? Well, there are 3 sizes in this series. This is the 21. There's a 25 and a 28. So depending on your needs, one of those may be sufficient for you. A 28 is a good weekend fridge. This one is big enough for one person for a weekend or taking the family out for a long drive or picnic. While the market has a ton of options in the larger stuff like 45 liters and above, there aren't a lot of choices in the 20-ish liter range. So we were happy to see this guy come in because it's perfect for us. Let's talk about our temperature results. So we do a temperature hold test. This is where things get pretty interesting. The eco mode on this is very different from anything we've observed before. Regardless of the internal temperature, it has about a 30-minute cycle time. So that's running the compressor for 15 minutes, then off for 15 minutes. Pretty interesting. I was thinking that this was going to chew through battery going through this constant cycle, but it didn't. It used very little battery. So not only did it prove to be very battery friendly, but it also maintained the fridge temperature at right about 1 degree range. Crazy. However, if you replaced some of the contents with warm contents, as you're going along, you put fresh waters in, then it's going to take a little while to cool those off, so the temperature might come up a little bit. But this thing is very, very efficient in that temperature hold. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because we have to look at the numbers. If I replaced 2 Monster Energy drinks with 2 that were at 65 degrees, the fridge would soon register a temperature of around 40 degrees. Of course, right? There you put warmer stuff in, and then it'll take a while to get back down to the 36 degrees that I warm it at. That's only a 4-degree temperature difference. That's actually less of a swing than we see in most refrigerators during their normal cooling cycle without anything being put in. We'll see anywhere from a 4 to 6 degree swing just during its cycle time. The fact that this maintained so low of a temperature is very, very impressive. So that speaks to how well the insulation on here. Well, let's talk about our efficiency test. We load it to about 70% capacity with energy drinks, bottles of water, things like that. It was powered on AC power until everything was completely cooled down. I left it for like a couple hours. Then we powered it off a Blue Eddy AC70, which has 768 watt hours of capacity. The fridge was set to 36 degrees, and I used it as my day fridge in my office. So I'd take something out, I'd put something in, things like that. So pretty typical. The hCalory S21 set a new Trail Traveler efficiency record by running for 78 hours and 39 minutes. That's incredible efficiency. Now, of course, your mileage will vary based on your external temperatures, all that good stuff. This was in a room that was temperature controlled between 66 and 70 degrees. So, and how often you're taking stuff out, putting stuff in, things like that. Still, we do a standard efficiency test across all refrigerators, and this was by far the most efficient one we've seen. And general operation, you can expect it to run about 10 watt hours per hour. So you need to run it for 36 hours. It's going to need 360 watt hours of battery. 72 hours, you'll need 720 watt hours of battery capacity. So let's summarize this all up. How well did it perform? Well, obviously it performed surprisingly well. The efficiency and the temperature hold are the best we've yet to see in any fridge that we've tested. So far and away, surprising results. Didn't expect it to be this good. The lack of an app, it's a bit of a bummer, but that's pretty trivial convenience thing. I really wouldn't put a lot of weight in. We use the apps way more often with the power stations to see where they're at than where the fridge is at. Well, once in a while, Katerina will say, hey, can you change the temperature? And I'm too lazy to walk over and push a few buttons. I'll get on an app and do it. But again, not a deal breaker for the vast majority of everyone. We had 0 issues during the setup, and it performed 100% perfectly. That said, is there room for improvement? And there is no perfect product. So while I do like the control panel, and especially the lock feature to prevent accidental changes or shutdowns, the sensitivity of these buttons leaves just a little bit to be desired. Sometimes I would touch something and it just wouldn't register. So I end up tapping it a few times. Maybe it's my fingers, maybe they're too dry, they're too wet, who knows? But maybe it's just me. It only happened a few times, and it's such a minor inconvenience. Again, not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. So just point it out because, like I said, there's no perfect product. The question is this the right fridge for you? Given that this is on the small side of fridges, it's not a fridge for taking the wife and the kids and the dog on a week-long adventure. It's just not big enough. It is great for a solo adventure like me and Lucas do once in a while, hauling the family's food and drinks to the park or the beach, on a day trip, on the trail for the day, things like that. A great drink fridge, sandwiches, the things that you want to keep cool. This is a perfect refrigerator for that. So you really are going to struggle to do any better than the hCalory S21 right now. But wait, there's more. We have a 15% discount code for you. Considering the unit is only $169 to begin with. Taking off an additional chunk of money certainly doesn't hurt, right? So check it out. We'll have all the links below as well. Use discount code TRAVELER21. Get you that extra 15% off, making this a super, super affordable. So thanks for watching from myself. Well, Katarina's not here today. Lucas is up front having some lunch. Stay safe out there. We'll see you on the trails with some cold beverages. Take care, everyone.